So
Yeah,
good to see
you
you.
too. Well, I'm just, as I made the title for this live, it's Sleep as Foundational
I
Self-Care,
love it.
because I'm actually 2.5 years postpartum with my second, and I'm still, sleep is like a constant moving target. So,
Hey, I'm
um,
I'm 7 years postpartum and I still feel tired as a mom. I think
yeah.
motherhood is just exhausting. And
I think it's just something that we all know, and yet it seems to elude us. Somehow we can't see, we know the sleep hygiene rules, we know all these things, but
right.
so what I was excited about for today, the Culture of Care series, it's all about, you know, having conversations with different practitioners and, product makers and things like that, really trying to get to the heart of what self-care really means and how different people are caring for mamas in different ways.
Love it.
And I just think that, like I said at the beginning, sleep being foundational, if we're not sleeping, we're not functioning, we can't
Right.
take proper care of ourselves. And so Natalie Fitzgerald here, I we met when my little one, when I was still pregnant or when she was little, I don't know. Anyway, we worked together, thankfully, when I needed support with sleep with my little one, and the kind of work that you do and so many others, it's just invaluable for those early days of motherhood. So for those tuning in who are in the early days or not and need support, definitely Natalie will tell you how to reach out to her later on. Um, Also, the connection here too, being with PHA, the Postpartum Health Alliance, which is here in San Diego. I was fortunate to join as a local champion, or I forget the name of it, but
Local
such
hero.
local hero, even better.
Yes.
And so I am wanting to basically just start with you sharing a little bit more about you, what you do, both from restored sleep consulting and also the PHA side of things.
Yeah, of course. So I am, for those of you on here who have not met me, I'm Natalie Fitzgerald. I am a certified pediatric sleep consultant and postpartum doula. So I work with families with babies and toddlers, generally ages 0 to 4. I've been doing this work for over a decade. It's crazy to think. And just helping families restore sleep and sanity in those early parenting stages. So I started my company in 2018. My company is called Restored Sleep Consulting and Postpartum Care. And really, the company was grown out of this passion that I have to help families in the early stages of parenting, and the challenges that they face with their little one's sleep. But the work really became so much more. It was kind of like we got the baby sleeping, but I realized so much of the work that I was doing with new moms was emotional support and really helping support moms during those postpartum months, helping normalize things, helping navigate things, especially I mean, gosh, I had my first child 12 years ago. There's so much more information out there. And I think that can be really confusing for new moms. It can be helpful and it can also be really confusing. It's that double-edged sword. So, helping mothers navigate this, what can be really confusing, road of postpartum, months, years, even. And when I realized how many mothers were really seeking a lot of emotional support during this process, I decided to get my postpartum doula certification. So in 2017, yeah, it was 2017, I was pregnant with my third, and I myself had struggled after having my first and second with different perinatal mood and anxiety disorders, or perinatal mental health disorders, as we're now calling them. And so I got the certification to become a postpartum doula so I could really help support my clients in a deeper way with perinatal mental health disorders, newborn care, lactation support, and just postpartum recovery in general. So, the way that kind of leads into my work with PHA is in 2018, I became a member of PHA, and I met some of the board members, one being Jen Fisher, who has become a really good friend of mine. And I started to realize, gosh, there's so much more to postpartum. That's kind of all I knew as a new mom was postpartum. And I learned a lot about perinatal mood and anxiety or perinatal mental health disorders. I learned a lot about maternal mental health, and it was just sort of the beginning. So I started doing some work with PHA. I think I started in 2019 working closely with the board of directors. And as Kim mentioned, PHA or Postpartum Health Alliance is a San Diego based nonprofit serving the San Diego community. With really the mission of PHA is simple but so impactful. It's to dedicate perinatal mental health, uh, dedicate programs to perinatal mental health awareness, education, and support. So, really, what PHA seeks to do is to both kind of twofold educate professionals and also to support and serve families during that perinatal phase. So, I am still working for PHA part-time, supporting the board and the members. And it's just such important work. It's so near and dear to my heart and connects so closely with what I do with families. So aside from my professional life, I'm also a mom of three. I've got three kiddos who are now, Connor is 12, Kate is 10, and McKenna is 7. And they keep me so busy, as you do know, when I'm not working. And I always say parenting, it never gets easier. It just changes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
I like how you tied it all together because it is, I came to you for the sleep consulting side of things, but it very much was fluid as far, when you're dealing with sleep stuff, you're also dealing with anything else in the mental health category, especially in those early days.
Right.
I struggled both times postpartum, and I didn't really know what I didn't know. So
Right.
having someone close who can be there with you and talk you through things and really understand your personal situation is just so important. And
Yeah.
then on the PHA side, I know thinking in terms of maternal health specifically, I know we have our Maternal Health Awareness Day tomorrow, which is
Yeah.
timely. And then, of course, I'm already thinking ahead to Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month in May because that is something. It's really a core pillar to the work that we're doing at Caring for Mama um, is reminding women that they matter, that we see
Yeah.
them, we care for them, and that nurturing ourselves is just as important, if not more, in a lot of cases, than
It
taking
is.
care of those who we love.
Yeah.
So I would just love to hear too what you're, kind of what you're seeing being on both sides, working directly with clients and also working with a lot of the, practitioners and providers that are supporting women. What are you seeing with maternal mental health right now, and how have you seen things, hopefully shift for the better? Or I don't know, just kind of give us a
Yeah,
pulse.
I definitely think shifting for the better is what I'm seeing. It's so interesting, and I don't know if it's because I'm so engulfed in it all day with work, or if it truly is coming to the forefront more. I do believe has been so much more awareness around maternal mental health, just in general. And really, I think during the pandemic, I think there was a lot of shift and focus toward mental health in general. Just
Mhm.
people were losing their minds, right? We're home, we're trying to work with their kids. We don't know when things are going to get better. We don't know things are going to get worse. Like schools are like everything just felt so chaotic. And I think that's when mental health in general kind of came to a rise, and a lot of people started to realize, wow, this is actually really important. This is just as important as our physical health, taking care of our physical bodies with nourishing our bodies with food and movement. And we got to also take care of our brain and our heart. And so I think that really like 2020, I want to say, was when I started to really notice a big movement toward not just awareness and support for maternal mental health, but mental health in general. Um, I look back like almost 13 years ago when I had my first baby, and I just remember thinking, like, I should love this. I should love all of this. Everyone keeps saying, enjoy every moment. And this is the best time of your life. And I'm like, no, like my entire lower section of my abdomen feels like it's in pain and, falling out of my body. And I don't feel myself. I feel so up and down. I'm trying to do all the right things to take care of this little human. And I didn't know then what I know now. But I also don't know if that was, my ignorance as a new mom and not by choice. I just, we don't know what we don't know. But I think what I've seen in the more recent years, I just think it's less, I don't know, it doesn't seem as taboo to discuss or be honest and transparent about what motherhood is and what these postpartum months are like. And I think that, we've seen, for example, a lot of public figures coming out and sharing their experiences. I think
That's
that helps normalize a lot of it for us, regular people that are just thinking like, gosh, should I be 6 days postpartum at my husband's football game looking amazing with my hair done and like amazing if that's your experience. I love that for you. Most people, that's not the
yeah.
experience for most people. Um, I remember actually, I'll tell this quick story. When I was a couple days postpartum with my third baby, so I had a 5 year old or 6 year old, no, a 5 year old, a 2.5 year old, and a newborn. And we were going to preschool drop off, and I didn't have help. So I'm schlepping all the kids in the car, and I've got the baby in the stroller. And I did not look amazing. I did not have my hair done. I don't even think I got dressed. I looked and I felt terrible. But I had to do what I had to do as a mom, get my kid to school. And I remember someone said to me, I will never forget this, and said, um, when's the baby due? Or is the baby coming
Mm,
soon? And I'm like, don't you see the stroller
mm,
that I'm pushing? And I still looked pregnant because most of us do when we leave the
yeah.
hospital, and most of us do for a while. And yeah, I think anyway, I tell that story because I think we have normalized the postpartum phase in a lot of ways that I think have been really transformative for moms now versus moms then, and maybe even 5 years ago. And I think that is really something that is to be said about the progress that we've made around maternal mental health.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy to hear you say that also from the work that I've been doing just in the last 6 to 9 months in launching Caring for Mama and getting out and really making an effort to make these specific connections. I'm finding so many more groups out there that I didn't know about before, but that it's encouraging that there's a lot of this momentum happening. And I think too, just you and I having this conversation right now, getting more of these conversations out and sharing them and just being open. I mean, I can say also a story that came to mind as you were sharing yours with my second when she was little. I remember being at the grocery store, not once or twice, but a few times where she was freaking out, screaming, having a tantrum, like scratching me and pulling my hair. I straight up started crying. I was
Yeah.
crying in the middle of the store. I could not help myself, and it was just this overwhelming emotion
Yeah.
that I think was just, it like kind of encapsulated that whole period for
Yeah.
me where it was just an overwhelming set of emotions. And
Yeah.
of course, one of the times I remember a woman who I think was also a mom or some, she didn't have her children with her, but she helped me out to the car and put my
Oh,
groceries in there for me. And, so
it
it
goes
was
a
an
long
immediate,
way,
like,
those
there was
acts.
someone there to help. But
Yeah.
that also makes me think of, and also why we're talking today is about, when I probably wasn't sleeping properly then, as
Yeah.
I'm not now still. And I just thought it would be nice to talk to you about, what you see on the sleep side of things. Because when we think traditionally about sleep consulting or sleep coaching, we think of someone coming in and coaching how to get the baby to sleep. Well,
Right.
really, yes. yes, we need our babies to sleep, but we need to sleep, you know? So I'm curious to hear how your process is working with clients and how you've seen your work in sort of remedying the sleep stuff
Yeah.
has contributed to women's feeling, you know, women feeling better and contributing to this whole idea of mental health and self-care.
Yeah. I think, well, first, I think a lot of families are really willing and eager to make an investment in their family's sleep. Just with knowing how sleep is a cornerstone of, you know, so many things to help us function as I think I mentioned, like partners, professionals, mothers. And it's just as important as having healthy food on your table for your family. So I have seen a lot of families reaching out, really prioritizing sleep, not just for their babies and their toddlers, but the reason a lot of times they reach out to me is so that they can help their baby get into a good rhythm, or to help get their toddler back on track so that they can sleep.
Mm.
Because I know personally, and I want to make this so relatable to our audience. Like, there are nights that I don't sleep good. I get it. And we've got a lot going on in our lives. We have stress, we have to-dos, we've got the kids and work, and there's so many things. And there are nights that I will lay there with my head spinning and I don't feel good in the morning. So it's just, I know what that feels like. I remember what it's like to have a little, and even my 7-year-old will sometimes come in and she has a bad dream, or, there, that is, that's part of being a parent, and our kiddos are not robots. And so, um, I think there's a lot of families that are willing to make that investment to help their kids sleep better, and also just to be confident in meeting their needs when things come up. You're talking about you're still tired. It's like there's these things that there are ongoing changes with our kids that come up, and when we have the confidence to meet their needs and manage those changes through all of the developmental milestones that happen. I say developmental, but also life changes. People move, or um, go through a divorce, or there might be a death in the family, or, maybe you're going through a really tough period of time with work or trying to figure out what you're going to do. And those things affect our entire home. So I think a lot of families are willing to make that a priority, which I love to see. And really, so much of the work I do with families is very much customized based on parenting style, lifestyle, your baby or your toddler's temperament. There's really no one size fits all for how we approach sleep. But the goal is, if you reach out to me and the goal is for your child to sleep better, so that your entire family can stay well rested, there are a lot of different ways to approach that. There's no right or wrong way. Um, did that answer your question? I feel like I kind of went off on a little tangent there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think yeah, that the idea that the kiddos are sleeping so that we can sleep better. It also made me think too just about this idea that you know, even if our kids are sleeping doesn't mean that we're sleeping well either.
Right. Yes. Right. It's like, put the
So I'm
kids down
curious
and
too, because
yeah,
yeah, like
you
because
have the opportunity, but it's
yeah.
hard.
So wondering how you've seen your clients. I know you sometimes, depending on the client, of course, you'll work with them for a specific period of time, and then they move on and they're fine. But
Yeah.
curious if you've seen certain things work, to really support I would say the mom primarily, but it's not just the moms. I know that there's multiple caregivers in these homes, and so anyone who is participating
Yeah.
or living with children, needs these tips as well. So maybe you can also share some tips that you both give to clients without giving away the whole kit caboodle, but also people who are like, just give me some things to try, like I've tried it
Yeah,
all. Let's try some new things
totally.
if we can move into some tips.
I think First, I mean, if you're struggling with your kiddos sleeping, that's kind of the number one. Like, we got to get the kids sleeping so that we at least have the opportunity to implement a ritual for ourselves. When I say ourselves, I'm talking about us as moms or parents. Um, so that would kind of be the first thing. Like, get your kiddos on a good sleep schedule or a good rhythm, whatever works for your family. And then I think for moms, I think that we have the lists of to-dos. We've got, and if you're like me, I can't be home and sit still. I'm always doing so. There's always something to clean, there's always something to fold, there's always something to organize. My kids are old enough to where we have started delegating chores. Like they can do their own laundry. Is it done in the way that I want it done or that I like it done or that I would do it? I'm very A type and a little bit, OCD. No, but you know what? It's getting it done. And also, it's so important for our kids to learn how to do those things. I tend to do a lot for my kids, and I think I was a single mom for about 6 years. So it was kind of in my nature. I did everything for them, and um, I'm reminded every single day that the more I do for them, the less that's helping them learn in the long run. My son's going to be off to college in 6 years and he needs to know how to do his laundry. So if your kids are a little bit older, or even if you've got toddlers that can help put away blankets or help them start to learn the habits of putting things away, I think that's really helpful and useful for us so that we're not up till 11 o'clock at night doing those
Mm.
things. So that's kind of one thing, is delegate out to family members, like, here, we're going to try this. That takes even the littlest things off your plate. I know there's all the buzz around screens and phones, and I am a big believer in that. I think it's important to have phones off. It's so tempting. I am guilty. It's so tempting to have your phone next to your bed and just, oh my gosh, oh, one more thing, or oh, I'm going to check my email, or oh, I want to, you just kind of need a brain break and like scroll through Instagram or whatever. And that gets your brain firing. Like, I don't think that we realize how much that fires us up to where it can be really hard to wind down. So for adults, it's recommended to have the phone off or no screen within an hour of bedtime. Again, like, I don't necessarily do that myself, but putting it on airplane mode so that nothing comes through at night, I think is really helpful. If you do want to have your phone by your bed, you use the alarm, or you like to have to look at the time. Like I said, putting on airplane mode is great. Um, I think having some kind of ritual. So it's so funny because we have these like really, I mean, I talk to families all day long. They've got a routine for their kids and they have no routine for themselves. So we put so much emphasis on creating a bedtime routine and a ritual for our kiddos. Do the same for yourself. And that might look something like taking a hot shower or a warm bath at night once you get your kids to bed. And like I said, the first step is getting your kids to sleep, right? And then I just had a doctor recommend about 6 months ago. I was having some trouble getting to sleep. I wasn't having trouble staying asleep the night, but I was getting to sleep. And magnesium oil, and he recommended some magnesium oil to rub on the bottom of the feet. There are certain types of magnesium. I just am not well versed in the magnesium types to know what to tell you here, but there are certain types that are absorbed by the body and that can actually have that effect, the same effect on the brain, to help you wind down, like kind of taking away some of that, you know, rapid firing brain activity away. So magnesium is great to use. I I'm a big skincare fan. I love my skincare routine. So if you're also looking for, like, if you're like, "Ugh, ritual, what do I do for a ritual?" Find some skincare that you like. And it doesn't have to be expensive, but find a good moisturizer. It feels so good to be able to wash your face at night with a cleanser that you really love, tone your skin, put some, a good moisture rich balm on your face. And I think that's a nice way too to just like kind of wind down before getting in bed. And, again, like when you get into bed, if you're having a hard time getting to sleep or staying asleep, stay off your phone. Have a little journal. Like if you do notes in your phone, 'cause you're like, oh, I just can't shut off the to-do list. Keep a journal next to your bed. I do that. I'm also a big pen and paper person. That's just how I am. Calendar things. So you can do something that is not digital,
Yeah.
or having a show that you enjoy watching. My partner and I, we love to pick a show, and we'll kind of like get into a routine where we watch a show before we go to bed. And I think it's also really important, and make it be a show that's like not going to get your brain going, right? It's like not I did you ever watch that series Yellow Jackets?
No.
I loved it because played soccer in high school, and it's about this soccer team, and
Oh, cute.
but it's dark. It's really dark, and I would not be able to fall asleep for hours after we'd watch this. So, if it's something that's like lighthearted or romantic or something that you enjoy, that just kind of gets your mind off the day. Um, and there was one more. Oh, okay, this is another thing I love. I think pillows are really important, pillows and sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So invest in some good sheets. I love the Bowl and Branch sheets. I actually had several sets that I had for I think like 5 years. They last so long. And I just rotate them out, and got a new set for Christmas because they're not cheap, but those are my favorite sheets. They're so soft. And investing in some good pillows. It depends on what type of sleeper you are. Are you a stomach sleeper, back sleeper, but getting something that suits the way that you like to sleep, that is so important as well.
Yes, all good things. I'm going to find a way to recap this in a nice way in the captions so we can have a good, like, quick list to look at. I would say for the magnesium cream or oil, one of the products that we have in the Unwind or the Lighten the Load box is a magnesium cream from Wild Sage Wellness, and it's
Ooh,
small batch, family
I love
owned. It's
that.
delightful, and it's specifically for sleep. So I put
I
it
need
on
to try
my
that.
yeah, it's
Love it.
amazing. And soon we'll be launching a marketplace, so things will be able to be purchased through the site as
Oh,
well. We're not quite there
awesome.
yet, but like individual products, because sometimes you
Yeah.
just want one
And
product.
that,
So I would
yeah.
definitely echo the magnesium cream. I would also say I haven't tried them yet, but I'm about to purchase some glasses that are red tint for blocking the blue light. Uh, During the evening time, but there's
Yes.
also daytime glasses that you can wear to support during daytime when you're in artificial light, like I'm in right now. So
Love
there's
that.
this all the science about it, which I'll probably do another conversation around soon. But it's all in support of your circadian rhythms and
Yes.
making
Oh,
sure that. Are you familiar with
yep.
that? So I'm
Well,
actually
that's
going to
what
invest in some.
I love that.
Mhm.
That's something that I was actually going to mention when I was talking about the routine is finding your sweet spot. Like what is your sweet spot with your circadian rhythm? I know for me, I like to be asleep at
Mhm.
10:30. So I like to get in bed by 9:30 because I like an hour in bed to read, to journal, to chat, to watch a show. But learning what that sweet spot is for you, like I can go to sleep at 10:30 and then I'll wake up at 5:30 feeling rested, and I like to
Mhm.
get up for the day in the morning, work out. I like to get up before my kids. I just know that about me. So that's something that I had to kind of play around with though. It was like, ooh, should I go to bed at midnight and wake up at 6, or what's the sweet spot for how much
Mhm.
sleep you actually need to where you can wake up feeling good? And that all has to do with your circadian rhythm.
It does. And I got some of that information from doing my genetic
Mm,
makeup through, I think it was 23andMe or one of those. And I
yeah,
had someone help analyze, and you actually can find out, some people don't need as much sleep, and,
yeah,
we have optimal time frames.
right.
But what I like about these glasses, and I'll report back once I actually start using them, but
Yeah.
the idea is that it helps to your body to naturally produce the melatonin when you need it to downregulate the cortisol release, which that's been my issue in the mornings with the high cortisol spike. Your stress
Yep.
levels are up, and so anyway, that's something that I
I
think
love
is
that.
yeah
Yeah.
a little bit more newer, sort of cutting edge in a way,
Yeah, a lot
but plays
of people
along the
ask.
lines of the devices that we're all on. I mean, I'm totally guilty of that.
And it's hard,
Um,
yeah. And I love that there's the different glasses for like the daytime or the night, like
mhm.
the blue light. I actually have those, the blue light. I just try to like turn off the phone at a
Yeah.
certain point. But a lot of
But for
people
any
ask me,
device,
oh,
any,
right, or the
like the
TV or
TV or even
computer.
just artificial light too. So anyway, I'll share more
Yes.
about that when I start
Yeah.
using that. But I will share, like I said, like a laundry list of these resources just to add to another. If it's supportive and helpful, another go-to list, as if you're struggling with sleep, wanting to get some new inspiration, this is where we'll have a new list for you to take a look at. And really,
Love
I just
that.
want to underline again the idea that this is this is my this is our opportunity to talk about different ways of caring for ourselves, and that as moms, as caregivers, we so often, to your point, put others' routines and needs above ours. And so this is just my way of restating what I think is obvious to a lot of us, but we just take it for granted that sleep, if we're not sleeping, I mean, that's just the basic that we need to get back to.
Yeah.
So what I'd love to say now too, or have you share how people can find you. Of course, I'll link to it as well. If there's any events coming up or things you want to let people know about, that would be great.
Yeah. So I actually just redid my website. I'm so excited to share it. You can find my website at restoredconsulting.com. And that's where you can find more about what I do with families, how we work, our approach, services, and all of that. And then obviously here on Instagram. And in terms of resources and events coming up, I wanted to share there's an event in San Diego that is a film screening, but I just got an email that it's sold out. So I was
Oh,
really bummed to, I'm happy to see that, but it's the M Factor, and it's you are probably familiar with PHA is helping host or co-host. And it's a menopause movie that came out. So there's a screening and a panel, and I think that's going to be a really great event for moms, and also providers. And then we so through PHA we'll have a spring educational event that is mostly geared toward clinicians and providers in the perinatal mental health field. But I find so many of these topics are so relevant to moms. So we just had an event this past fall on the state of modern motherhood. And
mm,
I think so many moms are just so interested in how things have changed and where they're going. And anyway, so I will be sharing those on I will share those on my Instagram. And then with my website, I have a couple of blogs coming up that I will be sharing in the next couple of months on what are sleep schedules,
mm.
what's the difference between sleep shaping and sleep training, some common myths around sleep training, what age and when should I start sleep training? A lot of people ask me that question. I always say start when you're ready, start a program when you're ready.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I have a lot of great content coming that I'm going to be sharing on my website and through my social media channels as well.
Well, you're amazing.
Oh,
Thank you so much for
thanks, Kim.
joining me and for doing the important work that you're doing and caring for mamas, and yeah, and just getting back to the basics, which is literally sleeping and
So
restoring our
important.
bodies, which is why you named your Restore Sleep Consulting. I
That
love
is
it.
right. Yeah, it was so good
Yeah,
to see
thank
you.
you so
Keep me
much.
posted on how things are going and these products that you're trying. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Yes, and I will be getting more into the menopause space as well. As I'm sure you know, it's perimenopause
Yeah,
and menopausal women are the largest growing segment. And it's going to be a big focus for a lot of
I
people,
love that.
companies, employers, things like that. So I'm going to be talking about that more. I'm going to be developing a box
I love
specifically.
it.
So I will definitely
Cool.
keep you all
Keep me
posted.
posted.
But
That's
thanks,
awesome.
Natalie.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
So
All
good to
right.
see you. We'll be in touch.
All right. We'll see
Okay.
y'all soon. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.